In this video, we're going to be taking this list of school dates of the year, as well as the team assignments, and using something called Google Apps Script, that's up here, the GAS, we're going to be putting these automatically into a Google Calendar. And then once they're in the Google Calendar, of course, then you have lots of ability to share and distribute them with the whole school community. So to do this, we're going to use the Tools menu and then Script Editor. And so I've opened that here, and you'll see that I titled it Calendar Event Creation, and I haven't actually used this particular project before. This is a new project, and that'll be good because you'll see that there are certain permissions and things that we need to do in order to make this work properly. Okay, so this the coding here is in JavaScript, and everything is working through a function, and so we're going to title this function. You could have any name you want, but we're just to be clear, this is the add events function, and we'll need to make use of, and I'm not exactly sure all the terms of these things, but the spreadsheet app is what we're going to use. I think it's called a method. The spreadsheet app method, and that is what we use to take a look at our spreadsheet and get the information from it. So we're going to use the spreadsheet app and then a dot, and you'll see we have a list of methods or attributes, things that you can do with the spreadsheet app, and we need to find our current active spreadsheet. So we need to find the active spreadsheet, and that's going to give us a spreadsheet here. And let's put another attribute to it. We need to find the spreadsheet. We need to find the spreadsheet by its name. So let's go back here, and we want to find this name here, alternating. So let's type that in here. We need to put that in quotes. It's a string, alternating. Okay. At the end of each JavaScript line is a semicolon. Now, all of this information here is going to be assigned to a variable, and we're going to assign that. Tell us what the VAR stands for, and let's just call this SS for spreadsheet is equal to this. Okay. Next, we need to, now that we've opened the spreadsheet, we need to get some data from it. So the range that we want to get, we need to get a range. Get range, and let's use this string method. Now, what I would recommend, since you're just testing this out, is don't put in all the dates just yet. Just test this out. So these are our school dates in this column. This is cell D2, and these are the names, the team assignments that are going to go in, and that's cell E2. So how about we just do a couple days worth? So we're going to start at D2, and we're going to go to E3. So let's take a look at that. We need to do quotes, D2, and then a colon, E3. And so with that range, we want to get the values, because we want to find out what information is in this. And I think I want this to be this one. All right. Oh, and we need to assign this to a variable. So variable, and we're going to call this our data. This is our data that it's getting from the spreadsheet. Okay. And then we need to find what calendar. So we're going to get our data from the spreadsheet, and now we need to find the calendar that is going to be writing those events in. So calendar is the calendar app, and we need to get oh, the calendar by ID. And the ID, right, the ID is the name of the calendar. Now, what I did here is when you go to Google Calendars, you'll see a list of all of your calendars. This is a calendar for a Google Classroom I have set up. You have holidays in the United States. To find the ID for your calendar, you want to go under Settings, like I just did there. Scroll down a little bit, and you'll see the calendar ID right here under the Integrate Calendar section. So what I did was I made a calendar here. We're going to call this the alternating school because we're using that alternating schedule here first. So I went to Settings and see if we can find this. Here is the calendar ID. This is a secondary calendar for this Google account, and so it has kind of a very long name here. So let's put this in here. We need to put this in quotes. Copy and paste. All right, and the semicolon. All right, and then we're going to assign this to a variable as well. We're going to call it cal, because this is our calendar that we're going to be assigning it to. All right, so that is basically what information we need to get. In order to check that we're getting the correct information out, we're going to do a thing called logger.log, and we want to see this one. And what I want to see is what data is being received from the spreadsheet. Okay, so we're going to hit save, and then we're going to run this. This is the add events function, and press this. Now this is what's going to happen, and I'm glad this popped up here because you'll know what to do when you get to this. So you have to review the permissions, and this is good because say you have someone else's Google Calendar, no one should have the ability to write to a Google Calendar unless they give permissions to it. And so yes, Google Calendar is unsafe, but that's okay. So I'm saying yes, I'm going to allow this to happen. Just say yes to all these permissions, otherwise this won't work. And in order to check on the log to see what came up, actually let's run this again because I'm not exactly sure if it ran, but we're going to go here, we're going to go to the log, and that is not what we wanted. Yeah, I think I realized what I did wrong here. I pulled up the wrong method for this one. I'm pretty sure this one should be get values. It's this this array. That's what we needed to get. Let's try this again. Save, and then run it. And then go to our log. There we go. So let's see if this matches. So this is Tuesday, September 8th. That's maroon. Tuesday, September 8th, maroon. Yep, that's right. And then we have Wednesday, September 9th, gray. And that is correct. So this works. This is good. All right. So let's go back here. Glad we got that fixed up. In JavaScript, all you have to do is 2 slashes in order to what they call comment. This way the logger won't run anymore because we know what information we have. So now we have to get to the part where we are going to put the events that we just loaded into data, and we need to put them into the calendar, which was this variable here. So to do that, since the data is an array of events, you see it has one event right here, and then a second event right here, and of course we can do all 180 if we had chosen that, but you see it's just 2 events right now. In order to handle this and put them in the correct order, we need to use a for loop. So the loop will run, and it will go through the first event, and then it'll run again, and it'll go through the second event, and then the third event, and fourth event, like that. And so the way to set that up is we need to use the word for. And then we're going to declare a variable, I, and this is, the I stands for the number of instances or iterations that you've gone through, and we're going to start with 0, and we're going to say I has to be less than the data. Remember, that was this variable here. Well, the length of the data, because we don't want to run the loop longer than our data is. And after it runs the loop, we're going to take the I and then plus plus, which means it's going to go from 0 and then it'll go to 1 and then to 2. And in this case, it's the length of the data is only 2 because there's only two parts of the array here, and so it'll stop at that point. So end parentheses, and then we need to put the curly bracket for the for loop. And in here, we're just going to put one statement, and that's the calendar, that variable. And we're going to create method that we're going to use is the all day event. And you'll see what it needs is the string title. So that will be the title that is going to be labeled for that all day event, and then the date. So those two pieces of information. So let's click that. And the title, we're going to get the title, and it's going to be our data. But because it's in the array, we need to use the square brackets, and we need to find the first bit of data, the first part of the array that we found, and we need to set it up like this. Let me just fill this out here, because I know what has to be in here, and I want to describe to you why it's not working, or why it should work. All right, I didn't finish the for loop. The for loop finishes with the curly bracket. Okay. Where is it? Yes, here it is. So that first piece of information, that first I equal to 0, is going to take a look at this. And you'll notice the title is actually second of this array. And so what we need to do is we need to put the title in first. So it's actually the second piece. And again, 0 is always the first in this in the JavaScript. So that's why it's putting number 1 here first, and then the date is 0. Oops. Let's get out of that. The date is 0. Okay. We now have the for loop set up, and we're going to hit save, and then we're going to run it. And let's take a look here. August, and aha, September. You notice it has inputted the 2 days right here, and they're under the alternating school calendar. So that's excellent. That worked. Really, really good. Okay, next up, let's take a look at the weekly plan. So the weekly plan, we have the school days here, and we have this day number column, and then we have the team assignments. So of course this is going to be the label, and this is the dates. Now because we have this column in between here, we want to get rid of that, because we only want to check the B and then the C column. So let's get rid of this, and you'll notice that when I do that, now the team assignment is all messed up because it lost its reference. So let's undo, and what we want to do is shift control down. We're going to control C or copy, and then we're going to paste the values only. And now we have, these are just the values. They are no longer the formula. Now we can delete this column, and we're set. So let's do this one. We have, let's go to, which spreadsheet do we want to find? We want to find weekly plan. weekly plan. What are our spreadsheet range? It is, let's go with more of September. So let's start with B2 and let's go down to C15. B2 to C15. That's our range. And then what calendar do we want? Well, this is the weekly plan. I made a calendar for this. Weekly school. Go to settings. And we're going to scroll down until we see the calendar ID. Here it is. Control C. Let's go back to the script. All right. And we'll just get rid of this part here. And that's it. Let's make sure that this is going to work. Make sure it's going to get the correct information in first. So let's comment out the for loop. I did that. I selected that and I did Control / There we go. So let's make sure before we do that it's getting the right information in. And let's go here to our, let's see what events it got. Yes, it's gotten more events. So September 8th, maroon. September 9th, virtual. September 10th, gray. So you see that it has put all of these into an array. So let's go back to the script. Let's select these, Control / and let's comment out this because we don't need to have that like that, and save and then run. Now what I've noticed is that sometimes it's just a little bit slow to update the Google Calendar. Let's go over here. And oh, there it is. So our weekly school is this lavender color, and you'll notice we've gone all the way up to the 21st. Is that correct? Oh wait, just some more of it was loading in. Yes, we went to the 25th. You see how it's just a little bit slow with its creation. But we went to C15. C15 is the 25th. That's a gray day. And this is working great. All right, so one more calendar to do. We have the modified weekly students. We're going to do the same thing here. We need to get rid of the day number column. But before we do that, let's Shift Control down. Let's copy all of these and paste them special. Paste the values only. Get rid of this column. All right, and let's do the whole month. So we're going to start with B2 and we're going to go down to C18. B2 to C18, so we get the whole month. We need to change the spreadsheet name. Which name is this one? Modified weekly. Modified WKLY, I think is what we did. And then we need to find the name of this calendar, Modified Weekly. Let's go to Settings. And where's the calendar? Here is the calendar ID. Let's copy that. Paste it. Let's not do the logger, let's just go for it because it has worked so well with the other ones. Let's just go and see what it can do. So we'll hit run. You can imagine if you're doing a whole year's worth, it might take a little bit of time to input all of those dates. Let's go to the calendar here and let's refresh. Yes, look at that. It has put the modified weekly, that's in a, I'm not really sure what color that is, a purpley color, and it has put them into the whole month. So that is how you do it. It's this script will automatically place those events that are in your Google Sheet and automatically create them to put them into a Google Calendar. I'll leave a link to this Google Sheet in the description below, and when you're there, click the subscribe button. Leave a comment about what features you'd like to see covered in an upcoming video. Take care, everybody.